Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Ferguson Township Board of Supervisors regular meeting for Tuesday, January 20th to order. Please rise as you're able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I'll recognize the Assistant Manager for Public Works to give the meeting procedures and to call the roll.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the members of the board, staff, and the public for joining us this evening for the January 20th Ferguson Township Board of Supervisors regular meeting. This meeting has been properly advertised in accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act as a hybrid meeting with the option to attend virtually and in person here in the main meeting room. If you were in attendance virtually using the WebEx platform and wish to speak on behalf of an agenda item, please say your name, municipality of residence, and the topic you wish to speak on when the chair calls on you. If you are attending in person with us in the main meeting room and wish to speak on behalf of an agenda item, please address the board at the podium and state your name, municipality of residence, and the topic you wish to speak on. Members of the public attending using the WebEx platform are asked to remain muted during the meeting to prevent any ambient noise from disrupting the meeting. If a member of the public is acknowledged by the chair, they may unmute their microphone for their question or comment. Secondly, board members are asked to indicate their name when motioning or seconding a motion so that the minutes may accurately reflect the action taken. Finally, a roll call of the Board of Supervisors will now be taken to ensure that all members can hear and interact using the WebEx meeting platform. Please indicate that you are here when your name is called. Chair Thompson.
Here.
Vice Chair Patterson.
Here.
Ms. Stevens.
Here.
Mr. Heller.
Here.
Mr. White.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Great. Thank you. So the Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session on January 7th to discuss the manager recruitment and a separate matter of personnel. Also, tonight I wanted to welcome the second individual in. We have our new interim township manager, Tom King. He started on January 7th and will be joining us for our meetings going forward. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
You may have known him as the interim police chief, so he went from interim police chief to interim manager. So we appreciate his service in both of these capacities, so thank you. Thank you. Next up will be a public comment. This will be for items not on the agenda. Each member of the public will get about 5 minutes to speak. We ask when you come forward that you state your name and neighborhood of residence, and we'll start in the room. Anyone? Yep, feel free to come forward.
Hi, my name is Jeff Cranway. I'm supposed to announce.
To the podium. Yeah, yes, please. Yep.
I'm Jeff Cranway. I'm here with Leadership Center County, observing the meeting as part of the government curriculum.
All right.
And I'm with Ferguson Township.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We sworn last week. Okay. Yep.
Mr. Chair, maybe we need to, if I may,
Go ahead.
Agenda itself, I'd like to make some amendments to it. So I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, we need to adjust the order so that it's kind of a regular thing that we make sure there's no amendments to it each meeting. But I would like to add to the agenda.
Okay. What would you like to add?
So in the, I'll make that a formal motion. I move to add to the new business a discussion on the 2026 budget.
This is Trevor Allen. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this doesn't follow our procedures for adding items to the agenda. New
Yes.
items, agenda gets prepared, as you know, by the manager in collaboration with the chair. We met on Friday to discuss
Right.
the agenda. And it's certainly a topic that we could put on the February 3rd agenda, our next agenda as new business. But in the event we would get multiple people bring up items, we may not be prepared for the information that we need for the discussions. And I think we should follow our procedures that exist in our procedures manual. And that is bringing it to the next meeting
Right.
and put it on the consent agenda. And if people want to vote in favor of it, then we can discuss it under new business.
So, I think I've been pretty consistent here, that the board procedures, it had a place and time. I think there was a point to it. But the board procedures also say we're gonna use Robert's Rules of Order, which Robert's Rules of Order permits modification of the agenda. So I'd like to do that, and I'm not asking for you, Mr. Manager, to be prepared for anything right now. I think that the board needs to have some discussions. I think that we need some public dialogue, particularly given that it's been a month since the last time we talked about the 2026 budget. And just not a lot of time, Mr. Chair. I'd say maybe 10 minutes maximum at the end of the meeting, or at the end of the new business.
Okay. And what I'm asking is just, first of all, what I do want to bring back is, if you remember our last meeting, while I wasn't yet interim manager on January 5th, as we were discussing getting rid of that section in its entirety about how to place an item on the agenda, I had asked, pass it now, I will bring back to the board for discussion how we get items on the agenda. That is going to be on the February 3rd agenda. Our next agenda, one of the topics is going to be how do we get items placed on the agenda. I would prefer that the board follow the procedure we have right now, and then we decide on February 3rd, what process does the board want for adding items? We can get rid of section 5 of that policy. We could make it as simple or as difficult as you want to make it, getting items on the agenda. But I think for the running of meetings and being prepared of what to expect at each meeting, we should follow that until we know what our new procedures are on February 3rd.
Respectfully, there's a motion, there's a second.
Did you?
I moved and Trevor seconded.
Okay, Trevor second, okay. Thank you.
So this is following Robert's Resort. So yes, I agree, Chief, Chief, sorry. I gotta get myself used to that. But there is a precedence for adding items. That again, in the procedures, it does say Robert's Rules of Order. So I don't wanna, I do think that we need to have a few minutes today on this topic.
Was this about the 26 budget or 27 budget?
26.
26. What if I still ask you to bring forward a proper proposal?
Yeah, we can draft something up for the next meeting, shoot to the king, but there's some discussion we can have today.
Because I think if we go through the proper process, especially with you mentioning public dialogue, we could better serve the public by giving them more than a moment's notice that we'll be discussing this matter.
I think we should talk about it, and you'll hear more about my rationale. This is not, there could, Mr. Chair, how about we put a maximum on it, some number of minutes, because it's prepping the public for the larger discussions, prepping everybody for larger discussions, quite frankly.
Don't know if I'll vote in favor of that.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm just going to reiterate, just to follow our procedures now.
Right.
And then let's change them. And even that can be added already, since, we can add that as a new business topic for February 3rd. We can advertise it when we post the budget. Everybody can know it's going to be a point of discussion. And another item for the agenda will be, how do we want to be able to add items? How do Board of Supervisors add items to the agenda? We'll be following our process, and it's only 2 weeks away. But that's my recommendation.
Mr. Patterson, with all due respect, I am going to deem that your motion is out of order.
There's a properly motion and a second on the floor.
Right. Subject to the call of the chair, I can rule the motion out of order. You could appeal it, but that's where I stand.
you know, look, we can move on.
Okay.
You're wrong, but we can move on. And we, sorry, Mr. Elliott.
Yes, Mr. Allen?
Mr. Chair, if I may, and I just wanted maybe just a point of clarification. I had two other items that I was hoping would also get on an agenda or at least a preemptive discussion this evening. But if I'm hearing correctly, I just want to make sure I'm following the process. If I'd like to see them at a future meeting sooner rather than later, I can make the request to add them to the consent agenda for the February 3rd meeting between now
Yes.
and February 3rd or that Friday. And then we would expect to see them on the consent agenda for discussion at that point on February 3rd.
Right, and they could be voted on by consent agenda, or someone could pull it off of the consent agenda to discuss it further. The merit of discussing it.
Right.
Okay, so then I guess this is a preemptive, I'll be sending something. Okay.
And I'd also only just clarify that sooner than later, just because of agenda preparation and getting things posted to the board, to the portal.
It's all ready to go, I can just send it to you now.
Thank you.
Okay, that was my clarification.
Okay. So we completed public comment. I will take a step back to also recognize new Chief of Police Tom Wilson. This is his first meeting. He was sworn in on January 3rd during our organizational meeting. So welcome, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.
You look good in that seat.
Next up, we'll have the approval of the minutes from the January 5th Board of Supervisors organizational meeting as well as regular meeting, pending no corrections. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Patty, so moved.
And do we have a second?
This is Matt, second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Right, next we have reports and presentations for our diversity, equity, and inclusionary activities and acknowledgements. We have the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust on January 27th. That will then move us to regional committee reports. We'll start with the Spring Creek Watershed Commission. I will recognize Mr. Kevin Abbey.
Thank you. Good evening. Kevin Abbey here, Ferguson Township resident with Elise Johnson. Thank you for putting us on the agenda. I'm here to just cover 3 points.
Can I interrupt just one second?
Yes.
Is this a committee report, or is this the agenda item for your project in Sudic Park?
Oh,
Was this the Spring Creek Watershed Commission
Yeah.
report?
no.
No, we don't have a commission report.
Okay.
It'll be later on in the agenda.
I apologize for the confusion. I thought it was, because we did have regional committee reports on the agenda
All
tonight.
right. No,
Is there-
we're not up yet. Our organizational meeting is tomorrow, but we'll come back up later.
Sorry about that, Kevin. Is there anyone, did we have anyone here for, okay. That will move us into the department reports. So I will recognize the township manager to provide any updates he would like to share.
Just wanted to, in your packet today is a report to update the Board of Supervisors, which you're already updated because you were part of the meeting with MGT, Impact Solutions, for the recruitment of our next township manager. The Board of Supervisors, myself, had a kickoff meeting with Charlene Stevens, who is assigned to our project with MGT, Impact Solutions. That was on January 7th. The Board of Supervisors had discussions with Ms. Stevens about the timeline and scheduling time to interview the Board of Supervisors and department heads to find out what type of performance traits and characteristics are interested in for the next township manager. Many of those interviews, one-on-one interviews with Ms. Stevens, have already been done by the Board of Supervisors and by the department heads, with just a few left to do. Also discussed was engaging the community through a community survey. A survey has been drafted and is getting close to finalization. That survey should be released probably within the next 10 days for the community to respond. We will be using social media and other platforms to get the word out about the availability of the community survey. So we encourage all our residents in Ferguson Township to use that survey, and if you can't fill it out online, we will have paper copies available here at the Township building. There also will be availability of an employee survey for every employee in the Township. We'll have the ability to complete a survey, also asking what they believe is necessary for in the next Township manager for Ferguson Township. The expectation is that this process will take between 14 and 16 weeks long to identify, for the Board of Supervisors to identify a candidate. And then, of course, much will depend on that individual and time they may need to give notice to any current employer before they could arrive and be on the job here at Ferguson Township. So I just wanted to make sure the public aware that progress is being made. There was a kickoff meeting, and there'll be opportunities to provide your input and feedback through surveys coming out in the near future.
All right, thank you. Any questions or remarks from the board on the reports? I will see what Mr. Keogh has a question on.
Bill Keogh, Ferguson resident. I apologize to Mr. Patterson. He asked me at the beginning of the meeting if I was here for any agenda item, and I assured him I was not. But here I lie. A question with regard to procedure in terms of the manager process. Will any, or is it the intent to have any of the surveys in terms of their summaries made public?
Yeah, in the aggregate, the survey information will be collected and it will be available publicly.
Okay, I'm just being available, and I don't know what that means necessarily.
Public could access it in
If there would be a link, say on the website, to I think there were 3 surveys mentioned, or at least 2. If there would be a link then on the website, I think that would be adequate. But yeah, I think it would be appropriate that the residents have an opportunity to look at the results of the survey.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll be sure it's available in an easy format.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on
Yeah,
department?
I have
Yes,
a couple
go ahead.
questions. The glow fiber issue, that stop work order, very curious, what were the standards not met in the township?
I'll defer to the Assistant Borough Township Manager.
Yeah, there were several violations, including cutting of tree roots larger than 2 inches, failure to have a proper traffic direction or traffic safety plan. There were vehicles in the right-of-way where they should not have been parked, along with equipment being used that was not approved per the permit. So with all those things, there was a request to stop work, so we're currently working with Glow Fiber on that. We've met with them several times to address some of the issues and come up with a plan of action before they return to work. So more to come on that, but they're currently stopped at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The Two-Deck Park Playground, I think there has been some thoughts on other ways to do it. I don't know, perks, we're talking about spray coating or something. Is that in the plan? I know there was like replacement, but maybe there's an opportunity to maybe save and, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, sure. The Tudic Park playground equipment has already been, it was removed in October. We've been moving forward with that. And I think in 2023, that playground equipment was identified as being at end of life cycle, needing replacement in 1 to 2 years. So that's what we had planned for in the capital improvement plan. to address those issues, and have moved forward with that. Our meeting just closed out, but. But we've moved forward with that, and we're in the process of preparing that play pit. About that same time, 2023, there were 4 playgrounds that were identified as being near end of life cycle. Tudick Park was one, Autumnwood Park, one of the, I believe the Upper Homestead Park and Fairbrook Park. When we're talking about end of life cycle, yes, there is some maintenance that can be performed on the equipment itself, but the way in which we manage that is CRPR serves as our certified playground inspector. Every winter, they provide a playground inspection report of all the playgrounds and all the safety standards and whether or not they're being met. To the extent that we can continue using equipment, for instance, the Tudick Park playground equipment was installed in 1998. So it was nearing 30 years old. CRPR, they work really well in terms of repair, replace. If there are parts that can be identified, that can be repaired, replaced, swapped out from other pieces of equipment, changed from other parts, we do that, CRPR does that, and we work together on procuring other pieces of equipment if necessary. One of the things that we've come into is that, yes, there is the element that the deck or the equipment itself may be repaired or resurfaced to a degree, but there are multiple other issues. One is that there's a cost associated with taking the playground equipment apart and putting it back together with a certified playground inspector that we'd have to engage for that project, which increases the cost significantly. There's also the component of, by the time it reaches that life cycle, one of the things that goes into that question is, roughly the lifespan is 25 years, so how close are we to that? Can we get can we get replacement parts? Or are there things that we can repair? After so many years, usually the pieces are out of, they're not being made anymore, and there aren't replacement parts that are serviceable or that can be identified. So that's where you usually see CRPR has to get a little bit creative, put some things in place to keep things safe until we can get something scheduled to replace it. For Autumnwood Park, obviously, that one we're working with that's the Kaboom grant and the Kaboom project that will go into the community build for that replacement. Tudick Park, we didn't have a grant for that project specifically. However, that one was in significant need of repair. That's one of the highest used parks and playgrounds in the region. Homestead and Fairbrook, we'll take a look at that one. We don't have anything firm on those yet or any plans in motion on those two, but we know they're on the list, so we'll take a look at those coming up in the CIP moving forward. But that's kind of where we're at. I think the expenditure too for Autumnwood, I'm anticipating the way the Kaboom project works is right now the budgeted amount, the line item is $250,000. It's a 50% match from Kaboom, so that means we're up for $125,000. We work on the volunteer side of it, bringing volunteers and in-kind donations to account for that $125,000. I have a good sense. I feel good that we're in a good place that will cover that. And if there is a difference, obviously it comes out of that, but we should be able to. We're working to get enough volunteers and enough donations to offset that cost. So that one should not have a dollar amount. Some minor materials probably in staff time to prep the play pit area, but that's how those playgrounds will be addressed. So the other two, we'll see going forward, but that's the plan for now.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
On the zoning report, planning and zoning report, I did see that there was, probably the normal decrease in stuff because it's December. Do we have a good bit in the pipeline coming through, kind of for 26?
For cases?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. We received several just today. But they're all in various stages. They're preliminary plans that they just have to show compliance so they can move on to the next stage. We have, I guess just call them pipeline, where they're not quite ready to be submitted. And then we have, I think, 3 active that are basically either under review or about to be under review that include a land development plan and a conditional use. So you will be busy.
That's exciting. Thank you, ma'am. And then, I guess, are there any pipeline changes? I recall that, like, from a planning and zoning perspective, and we witnessed this last year several times, there were some, let's just say some broken glass in our, excuse me, in our code. So, there were some shards that we need to clean up, if you will, so that it all ticked and tied and read properly. Do you have a backlog of those types of items? Sorry, I guess I should address that. Is there a backlog?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, thank you. Is there a kind of a backlog of those items like that we could potentially address as a board in the coming weeks and days and weeks and months and years? Well, not years, months.
2 answers. I think some things fall under what I'd call continuous improvement, and then other things definitely board because they're minor text amendments. We continue to kind of bump into things where the code doesn't necessarily agree with itself for any number of reasons, but they're just little tweaks that would really need to be solved even if we do a complete overhaul of the code. They're just process things that kind of cross on each other. The simpler things, though, that when the code isn't completely clear, if we at least have a solid policy that we are following that makes sense, that still follows, still lawful, we're continuing, that's the continuous improvement, continuing to look at ways to communicate that through improved applications, implementation of checklists. So we'll start to kind of roll all those out. We've been working internally, but we want to have a chance to look at them side by side so that we're not making it worse, confusing the public. But
Awesome.
We're continuing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, and then on the, oh, no, please, no, if it's in the same line, I'll pause, yeah.
I mean, I did just have 2 questions. One is a little bit related. Are there any like pre-approved plans that are just like pull off the like if somebody submits something like it just like automatically gets approved? Is there anything like that, or is that something that
can mean many things.
Okay, yeah. I'll table that for a different time then. And then the second one was about preliminary land development plans. Is that something that just goes to, like, initially goes to y'all and then, like, sits with y'all until, like, all the, like, I's are dotted and T's are crossed and then it gets released to the public, like, for, like, publicly accessible, or?
Oh, good you asked for clarification. It is a full review, preliminary land development. It goes from planning commission all the way to the board.
Okay.
Usually there's some set of conditions that are approved along with it. It's not unusual for stormwater, and some of that's because of timing. Those conditions would need to be met because then when they come back for the final, the idea is it's a clean copy that goes back through the process, and then the board will approve that. So if we have a preliminary submission, maybe the term's a little misleading, it's actually a submission.
Okay.
We do have people talk to us before they submit, and we highly encourage, let's get our ducks together, let's look together at, make sure we're using the right process. Are you asking for something like land development and conditional use that we can bring together at the same meeting, those kinds of things. So.
Awesome, thank you.
So my last report was on the police report, and this is a former interim chief to interim manager. There was an article about classifications of assaults, and so just wanted to get a confirmation that we'll be talking about maybe a little bit of how Ferguson's doing it today and when we made our transition. In the future, I just want to make sure that the numbers are right. I think that's my...
Chief Wilson will be given a short report at February 3rd, just in relationship to the article that was in the paper about the classification of sex assaults versus rapes. And he'll be given a report to the board at February 3rd, just to explain that and how things are being done in Ferguson Township, which, give you a heads up correctly, but he'll be reiterating that through his presentation.
You spoiled it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, and then final question on the last bit, it was the calls for service. I was curious that in the health and safety, the EMS assist and the fire assist numbers, it's almost 25% of all of the calls are assisting those two entities, and I'm curious, like the level of value add in that thing is, from officers are obviously probably getting there first and able to kind of, hey, calm some folks down and maybe some instances. But is it really like once our team is done, it's the fire's being put out by the fire folks or resolved, and so what is our, outside of the kind of getting there first and able to help, what's our scope there?
Well, it's kind of a large scope because it kind of depends on the particular incident, right? Many of these calls, it really is, since we're out on the roads, we're working, we're the first ones there, especially when you're looking at kind of the east end of Ferguson Township, or sorry, the west end of Ferguson Township. I'm still getting my bearings. But we're certainly the first ones there, and we are trained in all first aid and CPR and those abilities. So a lot of it is just us being the first one there and then the other agencies taking over. In some cases, for instance, if we have an EMS assist that is a serious medical issue like a cardiac arrest, we are assisting with that. And we actually have now the Alpha Fire companies also coming to assist with that as well to provide more manpower in that situation. Our officers then are able to move away from the life-saving measures when we have enough people there, and get the report on exactly what happened, deal with the family, help them out, and do all of those things. But a lot of these calls really, there's a lot in number, but they're not taking up a lot of our time. So it's not like there is a lot of time for us in those. Now, in a fire call or something like that, if there is a structure fire, we're also potentially doing an arson investigation or assisting the arson investigator, so there's going to be more involved in that. We often take care of the families in these situations and stuff like that, so there's kind of a wide gambit, but I'll tell you, I find the importance of these calls is that, we're not just enforcing the law, we're not just interacting with people when we're enforcing the law. This is another opportunity to interact with our public, be a public safety agency, and help people.
I love the way you phrase that. Thank you, sir.
And if I might add to that, I had an experience back in May, a medical emergency at 2 o'clock, something like that in the morning at my home. And when my wife called and the medics showed up, imagine my surprise after they got me to where I could actually stand up and walk from upstairs to downstairs to see one of our officers downstairs. And it was that community. I felt that the community was there for me to take care, and that really felt good. And I'll share that with you and the officers. That it was much appreciated.
Glad to hear that. Awesome. Thank you.
Anything else for department reports? If not, we have the treasurer's report in the consent agenda. Anyone want to take a motion on that?
This is Matt, so moved.
And do we have,
Do you need a formal more?
nope, just approving the consent agenda.
This is Trevor, I'll second.
All right. Nobody requested to pull this, but did anyone have any questions on this item? Okay. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that makes sense. Next up will be a public hearing on a resolution in Township of Ferguson, Center County, Pennsylvania, approving the naming of Tillage Road to improve and enhance the response of emergency services personnel for properties located on the road and allow connection between West Pine Grove Road and West Whitehall Road. And I'll recognize the township manager.
Yeah, our zoning office was approached by Center County 911 addressing. They continue to identify roads that don't have names for purposes of emergency response. This one was out near Ag Progress Days in the area which you've just described. And we're recommending that the Board of Supervisors adopt the resolution approving the naming of Tillage Road as a private street in Ferguson Township.
This is a public hearing, so at this time we'll open up the floor for any public that wants to discuss anything on this item. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion from the board.
This is Trevor. I move that the Board of Supervisors adopt the resolution approving the naming of Tillage Road as a private street in Ferguson Township.
And do we have a second?
This is Patty, I'll second.
Got a motion by Mr. White, second by Ms. Stevens. Any discussion? Mr. Heller.
Just a question, how will residents or those that own property there, I think ARL owns property that right against it, how will they be notified of this change, or are they already aware of it?
The planning department's been in touch with Penn State and working with our representative to Penn State, Julian Morales, and so they are aware of it. They have no objections, and they will communicate, as will the 911 center.
Perfect, all right, thank you. Only question.
Two questions. Number one, how many more roads are there that aren't named?
Yeah, do you have a number by?
No, but to clarify, this is a private, falls under private driveway or lane, vehicle access not defined by metes and bounds, not publicly owned, dedicated, operated, or maintained by the municipality, which provides for vehicle access to a single lot or multiple lots. So it's not a road that just never got named, it's an access.
And there's probably more of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Copy that. So we're, okay, so there's no like active, we're not, well, I know we're not active because this one was brought here to say, hey, we need a name. And then what went into the name? Does anybody know?
Tillage.
Till-
Sorry, that was a bad joke. Isn't it?
It was farm themed.
It was farm themed, come on, it's Tillage. Nobody gets me.
No, I got it.
That was good. Who's into it? Tillage.
Oh, wow, you really lost it.
Oh, that was good. Okay, thank you.
Yep. This is a roll call.
Anything else on this one? If not, I'll recognize the township manager to call the roll.
Okay. Chair Thompson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Patterson.
Yes.
Ms. Stevens.
Yes.
Mr. Heller.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Unanimously passed.
All right, thank you. Next up, we'll have a discussion on a regenerative stormwater conveyance project in Two Deck Park proposal by Spring Creek Watershed Commission. And at this time, I'll recognize the township manager, who will then introduce our guest, Mr. Abbey and Ms. Johnson.
Yeah, we have two guests here with us today, Kevin and Elise, to discuss an exciting project in Tudig Park by the Stormwater Work Group. And so I'll turn it over to ask them to present to you.
Thank you. Okay. Kevin Abbey, Township President, not too far away from Tillage Road. I want to thank you for putting this on the agenda and working with us. I have really 3 points to make this evening. The first one is to introduce this collaborative project that we're working to bring to reality in Two Deck Park. And I do that, I wear 2 hats for this agenda item. One, as the township's representative alternative representative to the Spring Creek Watershed Commission. And then secondly, I serve as a trustee on the Two Deck Trust as named by Clearwater Conservancy. So that's point one. The second thing I want to mention is to remind the Ferguson Township Board and to show my appreciation and gratitude representing the trust of the work that Ferguson has done over the years with the Two Deck Trust. This is an item that doesn't often get talked about, but dating back to 1990, when Bob and Elsie Tudek, residents, Ferguson Township residents in Park Hills, connected with the township and decided to mutually go together, and the Tudeks had 60 acres of land that they had acquired from the Dragobus family, okay, and agreed with the township that the township would buy 20 acres and the Tudeks would donate 40 acres to create the park. And it was all in the spirit of memorializing their 17-year-old son, Tom, who had passed away in a motorcycle accident. And so Tudek is unique in that a private property owner and the township came together to create it. And we work collaboratively as the Tudek Trust with the township to do things at Tudek Park. And your interim manager serves as one of the 5 trustees. There's a representative from the firm that created the trust, the granddaughter of Tom and Elsie Tudek, Caitlin Best. I represent Clearwater, and then Dan Jones, who many of you will know as a park designer over the years, represents the Penn State landscape architecture. So I just had to mention that because this project is on Tudek Trust land. Immediately adjoining is Ferguson Township owned land. And it was the feeling of the Stormwater Work Group and our partners that are putting this project together that we come to the township as well as going to Tudek Trust as a property owner to share and be transparent with what we'd like to do with this project. So that was item 2, just to reaffirm that township Tudek interrelationship. The collaboration between the Watershed Commission as an umbrella, we have a newly formed partnership with a stormwater work group. This was an organization of folks that came together because they presented to the Watershed Commission that the biggest threat to Spring Creek is from stormwater. Rain that falls onto impervious surface, whether roofs, buildings, parking lots, is heated up and then drains to Spring Creek, which is a high-quality cold water fishery, and puts native trout at risk because of thermal pollution. So it's an interesting group of people. Those partners include the Fish and Boat Commission, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Keystone Water Monitoring, of which Elise also functions as their watershed coordinator and watershed coordinator for the Watershed Commission. We have an engineering class from Penn State. Lauren McPhillips, is going to have her students involved. We also have folks from the Center County Conservation District. DEP is assisting, as well as Susquehanna River Basin Commission. So a lot of partners. This project is intended to be put together and submitted for a Susquehanna River Basin Commission stormwater mitigation grant at the end of this month. So it's moving forward quickly. And then we've provided a write-up about the project. And the third thing I want to cover today is to introduce Elise Johnson. Many of you know Elise. She came and started working with the Spring Creek Watershed Commission as an AmeriCorps member back in early 2023 and was housed in Building 6 and so has been on campus at Ferguson for a number of years. And when last year the funding cuts came to AmeriCorps, the Watershed Commission said the work that Elise is doing for us is so important that we brought her on through a independent contractor agreement. So she works now for the Watershed Commission. Previous to that, it was largely a all-volunteer organization, with the exception of several years ago when there was a plan that was developed, a watershed plan. So Elise is the one link between all of these collaborators, and she's sort of the director of this project. So Elise, talk with the supervisors about what we're trying to do.
Yes, I'm a little bit shorter. So it's great to see everybody again. Ferguson Township is a very comfortable space for me, so it's exciting to see that our first, shovel-ready project in my career is going to be within the township. So all of these partners, they've come together to address the issue of both stormwater and groundwater recharge. The Susquehanna River Basin Commission has identified our watershed as a water-stressed system, and so that's why we're pursuing the specific grant program that we are pursuing. And our partners at Fish and Boat Commission are very eager to help us develop some designs, free of charge. They're doing that in-house, and they're going to do some rock cross veins and step pools to be able to stabilize the channel that runs through Two Deck Park and put more water to recharge within our floodplains as a restoration project. So we're very excited to see how this comes together, because this is a fantastic opportunity for not just groundwater recharge and stormwater mitigation, but also community outreach and education, given the visibility of the Two Deck project. So this is ticking along, and you are happy to reach out to me if you have any questions or want to have further discussion. I know we've sat down with Kim and discussed this project, and it's just been amazing to be able to move this forward with all of the partners together. It's a very collaborative experience, and I think we have a lot of technical expertise at the table that is truly invaluable, and it's great to have all those partners come together. Oh, wonderful. So you'll see on the screen we have a diagram. This is by the Fish and Boat Commission. This is just a standard diagram of what their rock crossvein structures look like. And so we shared some photographs with the Two Deck Trust, and I think it would be worth passing along to the township to show how eroded this channel is. It's capturing a lot of drainage area. Oh, yes, wonderful. It's capturing a lot of drainage area from that old development up in Park Forest that was in the 60s and 70s. And so there's a very high velocity of stormwater that comes down through this channel. It passes through Two Deck Park, down behind Martin Street, and then drains into the Radio Park sinkhole. So you can see all the photos. It's really beaten up, and if you have not been there, I encourage you to go see it. It's on the, which direction side?
It'd be just north of Herman Drive. When you enter from Martin Street on Herman Drive, as soon as you get into Two Deck, there's a trail, and you can see where this channel goes under the road through a culvert, and there's a nice trail that loops around. I took these photos, and this one there are two of them, one that looks upstream from where this channel goes across the trail, and then there's another one that looks downstream. And Elisa's right, this is a pretty straight channel, but what we're trying to do is reconnect the stormwater channel with the floodplain. So the water does not continue to get hungrier and hungrier and degrade and chew the bottom of the channel and erode the banks. So, go ahead. Yeah.
No, thank you. Kevin is very familiar with the property, so it's great to have him on the team for sure. But yeah, so if you have not been out there, I encourage you to go see that part of Two Deck. Even as a community member, I didn't really realize that kind of side of the street was part of the park. So it's not well trafficked. I think after this project, it'll encourage a lot more people to not only get out, but also be able to see the educational signs that we'll be putting in to understand both the habitat improvement and the stormwater mitigation components of this project. So yeah.
Questions?
Any questions?
And all these materials are in the agenda packet so the public can view them, but we also do invite the public to get out to the parks. It might be a little nippy right now, but still, when it gets somewhat warmer, it's not a bad time to take a look at this and get outdoors. So, Mr. Heller.
So thank you for this. I appreciate it. And you answered my question as to where is this located? Because when I think about Tudick Park, I don't think about any water running. But if I understand correctly, as you enter on Herman Road, is it?
Herman Drive, yeah.
Herman Drive. On the right side then, by the parking lot, is that generally where?
The first parking lot is beyond the walkway. The channel and the project is to the right or the north as you enter heading west.
Okay, I will go take a look at it. And then what I also wanted to maybe encourage is, if there are going to be signs up as to what's going on, and, you know, thinking about ecology, thinking about, you know, stormwater and stream mitigation, I think about something like the elementary school that's there, Radio Park was just mentioned, Discovery Space, which is right down there.
Right.
Maybe some outreach to those groups too, to say, hey, if you wanted to do a field trip and just see what's going on there, they might be interested in that. I don't know if that's being done.
No, I think that that's a great suggestion. We do plan to get people out there. And you did mention Radio Park, and it reminded me, one of the benefits of this project is actually being able to filter pollutants before it hits that sinkhole by the elementary school. So there's also that benefit. And while I also represent the Keystone Water Resources Center, we'll be doing some ongoing monitoring of the site to be able to measure the impacts and quantify them in partnership with the Penn State class. And so I definitely think in the future there's a huge opportunity to get classes out there to see what's in their backyard.
That sounds great. And again, it's really painting a larger picture for my mind. You might see a sinkhole by your school and you go, okay, that's fine. There's some weeds and reeds and other things that are growing. But then to say, wait, let's talk about what's happening upstream. And let's show you how this whole thing is connected. It really changes the way kids, and I think students, look at the world around them. So thank you.
And there will be educational signage. I mentioned the County Conservation District. That's one of the areas that they're interested in, and our Penn State engineering students from Lauren McPhillips' class, I think, are going to use this as a capstone to both monitor the work that's done and also look at helping us with removing invasives and doing educational interpretive signage along the trail.
And just to emphasize your point, Mr. Heller, I did graduate from the State College Area School District and Penn State, and so I'm jumping with joy at the opportunity to get kids out in the field and like really see what's in their backyard.
I love that because, I'm going to geek out for a moment. My undergrad is from Penn State in earth sciences. So yes, studying geology, geomorphology, all these different things here. You think about the karst system, our limestones. Only one other place in the world that's like this, and that's in Germany. So you got to appreciate what we have. So well done.
And just for further reference of the site, it's actually behind the Aaron Plaza off Aaron Drive.
Right. Yes.
It crosses over Aaron and
Right.
connects to the park there. So just another frame of reference if you're looking for this.
The walkway is really nice, the way that it was set up.
Yeah.
It terminates at, this particular walkway terminates at Herman Drive, but it starts on Aaron.
Yep.
And right just east of the bus stop, which used to be one of my concerns many years ago as the CATA guy, the parkway, the walkway there, it is marked, park closes at dusk, and so it's immediately to the west of Aaron Plaza, where Robert Sides and Wiscoy is, and it walks all the way down adjacent to, just to the east of this channel.
And it is amazing to see the amount of water coming through there during a torrential rainstorm. It's impressive.
Yeah, people don't think of it as a stream because it's an ephemeral stream. It doesn't have continuous flow or fish living in it all the time. It's only whenever you have those rain events that you really see the impact. It's moving huge rocks with what seems to be a dry stream bed.
Would that somewhat be attributed to, I noticed there is a lot of trees that got knocked down in that area. I think it was primarily wind, but I imagine you let this go long enough, it will take all the trees with it too.
There's quite a bit of blowdown in and around this channel. There's also, if you follow this channel upstream through Park Forest Apartments and then even further, there's a lot more blowdown there. And to my earlier point about impervious, what often happens when water gets hungry and starts collapsing the bank and degrading the bottom of the stream, people will harden their land upstream. And that gives some temporary relief, but it's a Band-Aid on a problem and creates more energy downstream. So what we're trying to do here is restore this channel and put in it will be pools will form, there'll be a rock vein, a cascade over the rock vein into a plunge pool, a little bit of a run, then you'll redo that over the about 800 to 850 feet of the channel. So it'll be repetitive with rock, not heavily engineered, but endorsed by the project partners of the Stormwater Group as an inexpensive way to protect things.
So kind of like where Ferguson and Patton connect going up Science Park on the left-hand side.
Drainage way.
Yeah.
Park Hills Drainage Way. Yeah.
So similar to that, pretty much.
Yes.
Awesome.
And Mr. Patterson.
So this agenda item is a letter of support, correct?
Yes, the board is asked to authorize the manager to submit a letter of support tonight.
I have zero issues, letter of support. Would love to hear more about this in the future as you kind of go through the phases. I have lots of things to say, but it doesn't matter because it's a letter of support that I'm fully in support of.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Ms. Stevens.
Yeah, I with what Omari was saying, as long as it's a letter of support, I know you are applying for a grant and grants require matches, and I'm sort of just wanted to be sure that all the parties you mentioned to begin with were all willing to be supportive when the match comes and things like that. So that's just, again, to be reported back on later. And I do actually, I'm glad you brought up the Park Hills Drainage Way because this sort of started to get, catch my breath at Park Hills Drainage Way that, because that ended up being a lot more than what was anticipated. So it's all of that. And then I also, this is actually more a question for staff. Have we learned anything yet about our MS4 permit and what might be considered fall in that?
There is no update on the MS4 permit at this point. We are feeling positive in the direction that we would be able to possibly accumulate some credits towards the MS4 projects, potentially whatever that final output of the MS4 permit is. We have a positive feeling towards it, but there's nothing confirmed at this time.
Okay, great, thank you. And that's all I had, thank you.
You know, I heard you mentioning about Park Hills Drainage Way, and I remember when I was preliminarily meeting with the manager preparing for tonight's agenda, this is a lot much smaller of a project than Park Hills Drainage Way, but I don't think we need to acquire property on this, and again, it sounds like we're looking for a more cost-effective solution, not necessarily putting in anything like robustly immaculate, but something that's gonna just protect the environmental sustainability of the area.
The beauty of this one is that it's not heavily engineered, and our partner, the Fish and Boat Commission, they have people on staff that do this all the time around the Commonwealth, and for this project, they will be designing as well as supervising the contractor, and they'll be doing that as part of their regular duties. So there's no extra money in the budget to pay them. This is what they do. And so we're very mindful of the match, Patty, and working to make sure that we have everything in place. The budget and the design from Fish and Boat Commission is being finalized just in the next week or so, so we'll be fully ready to submit the grant.
Great, thank you.
We meet tomorrow night. This will come up with the Spring Creek Watershed Commission's organizational meeting at Patton Township at 6 o'clock, and then on Friday, we'll take this project with Tom and with Jenna to the Tudeck Trust. We're going to have a meeting Friday afternoon to review this and get their commitment.
Mr. Heller?
Would you take a motion?
Absolutely.
All right, I move that the Board of Supervisors authorize the manager to submit a letter of support for the Tudeck Park Regenerative Stormwater Conveyance Project.
Do we have a second?
This is Patty, I'll second.
Got a motion by Mr. Heller, second by Ms. Stevens. Any further discussion on this? If not, just want to thank Mr. Abbey and Ms. Johnson for your report. Thank you for your service and to Spring Creek Watershed. Also, I want to thank Spring Creek Watershed for their investment in Ms. Johnson's work. It's very you do a very good job, and if there is any festivals out and about the community this year, I do encourage everyone to stop by if Ms. Johnson and Spring Creek Watershed have a table or a booth there. They got a lot of good educational materials and resources, so just thank you for all that.
Yeah. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank you. Right, if nothing further, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Next up, we'll have the discussion and authorization to post a legal advertisement for a public hearing on a conditional use application for construction of an additional dealership and car wash within the area of the property at 1703 West College Avenue in the general commercial and industrial districts. And I will recognize the planning and zoning director.
Thank you. This is a request to advertise, as you just stated. The anticipated date for the Planning Commission for the Land Development Plan and the conditional use is January 26th. So it follows that by February 17th, we would hope to have the conditional use to you for the public hearing, but we need to be granted the permission to go ahead and move forward.
Okay. Any questions for the planning and zoning director? If none, I would take a motion. Anything I could do that. Oh, help move this along.
This is Patty. I move that the Board of Supervisors authorize advertisement of a public hearing for additional use door to occur on February 17th, 2026. Is that the right one?
Conditional use? Yep.
Yeah, the conditional use to occur on February 17th.
Yep.
Sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion by Ms. Stevens, second by Mr. Heller. Any discussion? Mr. White.
We were just talking about stormwater runoff, all that stuff. Rudders is getting developed right next to it. So I have a lot of comments and questions, and I don't know if there's anybody from the entity tonight that could answer some of those questions, but I mean, also, I don't know if maybe if you're the right person to ask these questions to.
Yeah, but in the spirit of keeping with the
Okay,
agenda,
then
this is simply the authorization.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the planning commission meeting is when we will go over all of those items. The land development plan has been under a lot of review already.
Okay.
And that will be shown with the planning commission packet.
Thank you. Don't want to get out ahead of my skis, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, it sounds like there will be more to come, so, you know, along the way, you'll get the questions answered. And feel free to check in on those meeting recordings of the Planning Commission. There's been times where I've realized all of us on the board have watched the Planning Commission meetings, and there is a lot of great wealth of information that I think can help us when we're preparing for anything that comes back to us as a board from Planning Commission or Planning and Zoning, so.
I just hadn't seen anything on this particular item yet, but I know that there was construction that had already been going on that site in the past, so I was wondering if they were related to one another, and, yeah.
I can explain that.
Oh.
So that's Mazda that came through previously. And now this is Hyundai.
Oh, so it's gonna be, so now we're gonna have separate.
We're gonna keep going, yeah, so
Okay.
this is just the next phase.
My wife's Hyundai is actually in there for maintenance right now, so that's, I guess that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I guess on the surface, the way I was kind of seeing this is what's probably already established over at Stockers, where the GM and Subaru are separate from one another. But yeah, we'll see what they have when they move things along. So there is nothing. Let's see. I think this is just going to be a voice vote. So nothing further. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Right. Motion passes. Next up will be the Center Region Council of Governments COG committee reports, starting with the executive committee. So we will have general forum next week, and this afternoon we discussed about the YMCA generator donation agreement. The COG has had this generator for quite some time, with only less than like 300 hours on it, and I guess Penn State has been doing the maintenance and holding on to it, so it's been decided since Penn State does not want that particular asset anymore, so it is COG's, and COG has decided to donate that over to the YMCA. There was some, I'll pause here for some reason, our meeting online keeps adjourning. Okay, we're back on. So donation to YMCA, because there is a lot more use out of this generator for quite some time to come, and YMCA has been it's not fully finalized, but there was some discussion of YMCA possibly partnering with the COG as a shelter in years to come if there's any natural disasters where people may need showers or a place to charge phones, or maybe even just a cool off or stay warm. So this generator would be of a benefit, because we did highlight this past year when there was a large power outage, even the YMCA and State College was out of power, so they couldn't really provide any support to the residents without power. But here, if they were to have this generator, this would be able to provide backup power to their facilities to help support the community where needed. And the location is relatively nice in the event of a type of disaster. So that will come forward to general forum for discussion and approval. The executive director also did share today there is going to be a training or orientation for new elected officials, but they do have throughout the year on pretty much a monthly basis, there will be opportunities for some discussion and tours of various COG facilities, like the fire station, the parks. So I would encourage everyone to mark your calendars, like the upcoming orientation, don't necessarily need to attend that, but I think they're going to be a touring, giving a library tour following that, so definitely something to mark your calendars on if you're interested in just either getting a refresher or learning more, or just even have an opportunity to tour any facilities that you haven't visited yet. So just something to keep in mind. Any questions on the executive committee? Yes, Mr. Haller.
I would just ask, and we can mention this in general forum too, that we hear the good things that that generator is being used for at future times, be it in unfortunate emergencies or other things like that. It would just be nice to have a report to say, hey, we were able to use it in XYZ scenario, and this is why. Again.
I think that's a good idea, and something for staff to keep in mind, for the COG staff to keep in mind. So, feel free to share that again as well. So, any other questions? If not, we'll go to public safety.
Nothing to add other than what's in the agenda item.
Okay. Any questions for public safety committee? And then we'll move to finance committee.
Finance, riveting meeting. Finance, I know Todd's over there thinking, of course it's riveting, it's finance. But no, nothing really different than what you see in the agenda. We continued our discussion around the fund balances related to library operating, district capital, as well as parks operating and capital. Arrived at some 1 month funding for each of those. The other thing that, again, I think it's important that we have the ability to share what we do in the Finance Committee and to the broader municipalities and to our residents. So one thing that we talked about at a high level was including the fund balance review timeframes. Essentially, throughout the course of the year, we're going to say, okay, we've finished with the fund balances, we've all agreed on some level, that'll then go to general forum and everything. But what does that mean to review them? We should come back and just say, how are they working? What does it look like? And is there anything that might need to change? And really come up with a more cyclical review of the fund balances. So that will be incorporated in Gantt charts moving forward. And then the final item here is that we welcomed our new members, our new backup members, hello Trevor, and others. And there was also a high-level review for those new members at the meeting as to what finance was and how it operated. So, yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Mr. White?
I'll just add on, after everybody left, I was just chatting, just to I don't know, feel it out and figure out okay, how I fit into all of this. And I was just asking a lot of questions to the COG finance people. They are really they're ridiculously well versed in a lot of this material. I walked away very, very, very impressed. And so I just wanted to say that we were talking about monopolistic activity within libraries and how that exacerbates costs, just a level of technical expertise that I was not expecting. And so again, just blown away by their expertise. So.
And I'll add, they're also very accommodating. Should questions arise or one-on-one times and things like that, they're excellent. So, yeah, great. I'm glad that experience. Thank you. Message.
And thank you for your involvement in Finance Committee. I think that's sometimes one of the most intimidating committees to elected officials, but we greatly appreciate those that step up and dive in. You all do a very good job, and appreciate the collaboration that all the elected officials on that committee do.
That's true.
Anything else for finance? If not, I saw joint land use and community infrastructure in the Climate Action and Sustainability Committee was on here, but I did not see it on the calendar, but I will defer to our representatives if you have any, please.
So it was actually following the Finance Committee meeting, so I got to sit in the COG building for a solid 6 hours. It was nice.
You say that now.
I thought it was nice. I got to.
It sounds like you haven't been to a budget meeting yet.
Hold on. All right. Anyway, so I guess all right. Joint Lucy and Cass joint the ongoing discussions about merging the two. There were I guess if I had to summarize the discussions around that, everybody seemed to be in agreement. Like, okay, there's a lot of overlap here. It does make sense to combine these. There is probably going to be some, I don't want to say hiccups, but like, oh, we might have to create subcommittees for like refuse and recycling. Like, yeah, they don't really fall into. So
Yeah.
there's still some stuff to iron out down the line, but it seemed to be general consensus that yeah, we should probably merge these committees at some point. Timelines on that, I don't think we laid out any timelines on that just yet, but I'll keep everybody updated as we keep moving through it. And then the big item, I say the big item, the item I was most interested in was there was an exercise tentatively scheduled for April 10th or April 17th. It was basically a disaster preparedness project with Penn State students. It was massive joint collaborative effort. And to your point about the power outages or last year, like that's kind of what, I'm not saying that like that alone is what spurred it, but basically these exercises are centered around those types of events and like how we can respond, and that's where conversations about the generator were popping up because the Y is a great facility. Yeah, so like it was it really tied in a lot of the threads from the other meetings. And then yeah, we went over the items that their work plan for the year, and that's about it. Unless anyone had any questions.
No?
Anything?
Thank you.
If not, any communications to the board? I see Mr. Keogh has a question. Or it could be a communication. We'll see.
I've commented on this issue previously. I would like to bring to the board's attention my beginning of the year meeting auditory report.
Yes.
Commendations and kudos to Chair Thompson, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Heller, and Interim Manager King. You were easily auditorily understood this evening. I'm wearing, and have been for 6 months, $3,000 in each ear.
Oh my.
And tonight was not a good night for the majority of the people sitting around this table. You tend to continue to look at each other when you talk, as opposed to the microphones, which are strategically placed, and it just doesn't come across. You need to raise your voices. You wonder why people don't necessarily come to the meetings. Well, listening to garbled talk to each other tends to be part of that. I appreciate the fact that I sat on your side of the table for a term and do still with the Planning Commission. It's important, folks, and we're not doing as good a job as we should. I will comment that Todd didn't speak tonight, so I couldn't give him a grade. But just a comment, thank you. I hope you are more attentive to this.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Keogh, and we want to make sure everyone can be able to attend the meetings and hear, and always appreciate your feedback there, and something for the manager to note. Sometimes the volumes can, I think it even does sometimes vary whether the room is full or empty, but still something we're every now and then trying to fine tune, so appreciate that. Mr. White.
And if I may, so me personally, I actually have to do the opposite. A lot of places I go, I have to dampen it out. So apologies. I will keep that in mind, and I will try to be wearing these so that way I can speak up, because I have the opposite of a problem. So thank you.
Any communications to the board?
Yes.
Yep.
Communication I got was, what are you doing about the several $1 million deficit? And my response was, it's not me, it's we. what is this team, this board, this staff doing about the deficit? What are we doing about? And there's a couple of places, there's a revenue and then there's expense. So my response to this individual was that I hope it's twofold, that the board, that at least the extended part of the deficit, that said they had ideas, would come to the table with their ideas. For at least the portions that existed. I know that it was going to be a deficit anyway, and so it was going to be a us problem anyway. But we continue to come with ideas. And also, this is a new year, new era, new leadership, and that we'd be seeing more staff ideas on controlling this deficit. So that was my answer to the person that asked the question. And that's all I got.
Any other communications?
No, if I may, should an item like that come before the board, I have some ideas. Thank you.
So
we'll talk about that later.
Yes, right now there is a process for bringing items.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Let's
Well, I do want you to know
let's leave it.
Really would like to see that come forward. So, yeah, I got communications on Route 45 getaways, Black History Month, our authorities, boards, commissions. So, that's what I had.
Coffee and conversation.
January 31st.
Yes, coffee and conversation, January 31st. Mr. Wilson will be joining us. Have any questions for police or the manager? Or any department, bring them forward. Yes, Mr. Aller.
When I saw the date, I had a concern. That's also the same day as the Winter Classic, and I think there's some other things going on downtown State College, and I think Jason Aldean is here the Thursday, like 2 days before. Is that an okay time for everybody? I just want to make sure. I had a little bit of a concern there.
We had a meeting today, the Center Region managers with Julian Morales, from our representative to Penn State. He's the governmental affairs for local liaison. They have about 15 different events going on that day now, including the hockey game, Penn State men's hockey game. But while there'll be a lot of people in town, hotels are nearly full for that weekend. It's 8 to 9:30 in the morning. And I really doubt that it's going to interfere with a lot of the other events because of the time. If we were trying to do it, noonish or in the afternoon or even early evening, I think it would be a conflict. I really think that time in the morning for our local residents, probably not going to be a problem.
And it will be hosted here at the Township building.
Here at the Township. So
we
we
don't
don't have to find parking.
Grounds. Yep.
It'll be here at the Township building.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. That was my only comment, but I did want to raise that.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and these events historically have been held various times throughout the year, various different locations. I was going to say her executive assistant is wonderful at taking messages from people. So if anyone has anything that they want to talk about or ask questions about and can't attend, they are definitely more than welcome to contact the township at their leisure. Leave their questions or comments, and staff will get back to them. Sometimes even in coffee and conversation, sometimes depending on what the question is, it does sometimes require some follow-up so that some additional research or information can be pulled. So feel free, however you feel comfortable interacting with the township to bring those forward. So, any other communications? If not, lastly, I wanted to give a shout out to our guests from Leadership Center County. We do always welcome the public to attend our meetings, but we also do appreciate the opportunities when different organizations as well as school groups come together to attend our meetings. No matter what age or group you may belong to, you're always welcome to attend our meetings. So thank you for joining us this evening. And if there's nothing else, Ms. Stevens, would you like to bring forward item number 11?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.